Welcome to the Midday Meltdown with J&J Video Reacts.
Hello. I thought this wasn't going to happen, but as it turns out, the restream gods were on my side this time. So, welcome to the Midday Meltdown, guys. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantabulous day. I know I am. See what happens when you stay positive and don't let stuff trigger you? In that moment, all I could do was be glad that I was, number one, alive today to even be able to talk to you. Number two, that I'm even in a place where I can do this and that I have the ability to do this. And number three, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth getting a headache, degrading my body, mind, spirit in that moment to let something that's temporary take me out of my life in that moment. So keeping positive made something positive happen. And you think the law of attraction is bullshit. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is, you may have seen the thumbnail, is fear controlling your life? Because I know for a long time, it controlled mine. For those of you who are not familiar with my backstory, I am a cancer survivor of 20 years. And for a while, unbeknownst to me, I actually dealt with what we know as PTSD. Okay. And, it wasn't fun because I didn't even realize that it was happening to me. I thought everything was fine once I had my chemo and, had the operation, had some chemo. And, I thought everything was fine. And I'm going along about my life. A few years goes by. Okay. Few years goes by. And the next thing I know, out of the blue, I'm starting to have these feelings of anxiety. And I'm starting to focus more on death than I am life. Now, we know it's inevitable that we're all going to die. Okay. Sucks. But I learned that the sooner you accept that fate and move on with living instead of focusing on when is it going to happen? How is it going to happen? Is, anything that surrounds, any negative energy that surrounds death, and fear is the primary negative energy because it's the unknown and the cease to exist and the aftermath. Okay. What are people going to say, think? How's my family going to, all of that, because you at that point have no more concerns, right? You are part of the ether at that point. And I learned that just through meditation and things like that, that we all have an innate, and don't let anybody fool you that says, I ain't scared of dying. Bullshit. We all are. Okay. It's innate. It's built in. We all have to live with this thing. Like, as Prince said, we all are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. And some of us, unfortunately, are preoccupied with the other side of that, which is death. And for a long time, I was and didn't realize I was. And that could be because I faced it and realized in retrospect, hey, you almost died. You almost weren't anymore. You almost were gone. Like that thing, that big scary thing, that almost happened to you, And it kind of with your mind a little bit. If you think you got by it, you know what I mean? And I realized, wow, I'm living with some PTSD because I can't get rid of these thoughts of death. We all are on a collision course with it. It's inevitable. But should we spend our life worrying about it? Should we spend our life trying to, tell you what, Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and put a little screensaver on. Let me go ahead and type back to the Restream chat people that everything is up and running and fine. I hit them off. So give me about 2 seconds here. You know me, I'm legally blind, so just give it 2 seconds and I won't be long. Okay, we're back. Thank you for your patience. And we are good to go. Okay. So yeah, little did I know that I was dealing with, what I learned later on was PTSD. And it would sneak up on me too, because there would be little things that would happen, like, when you're older, things happen to you physically, right? And like, say you're, clutching something, right? And your hand kind of gets stuck in that motion. Well, I freak out for a second. I'm like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And I'm like, all of a sudden, my thought went to, am I dying? What is my body shutting down? Why did that happen? Thoughts and fear of being sick, being ill, and ceasing to exist, right? And so many things went into creating that PTSD. It wasn't just the cancer. It was people around me dying, and family members that never made it past the age of 63. My mother and father being two of them. And just being surrounded by death. And I learned also through meditation, and you guys got to look up Dauchsy Meditations, Dauchsy. It has changed my life. I use it. He has a lot of sleep meditations that I listen to subliminally when I'm sleeping at night. And I will, as always, put a link to that channel in the description of this video. So check it out. It's good shit. But what I learned was, I was actually, I got so into Dauchsy, I forgot my damn thought. Maybe I should rewind it real quick. Hey, that's pretty cool about technology. I forgot I can literally stop and go rewind this. I realized in retrospect, what I was doing was I was focusing on the future, which is literally taking me out of living in the present moment. And that's one of the things that can help you to get through PTSD, if there are any of you out there that are suffering with it. And it doesn't just have to be, a fear of death, but that's what it was. I learned through Dauchsy that ultimately all fear is based on the fear of death, the fear of not being in control. And death is something that we all know we cannot control. There's no pill you can take. There's no exercise you can do. There's no mind game you can play with yourself that's going to tell you that you can live forever and you really mean it and know that to be true. You can try. You can be the first. Okay, but history will tell us, and I know we don't go off of history, but in this case, it's probably a good idea to. Chances are you're probably going to go out like the rest of us. I think every day that I'm going to live forever. Am I being delusional? Nah, it's just the way that I deal with it. See, you get to pick how you deal with this. That's the part of accepting death and accepting your life circumstances that is cool. Once you begin to accept your life situation, because it actually is not you personally, it's something that you're going through, and accept it, that will take away the fear of whatever's happening, the frustration of whatever's happening, and the anxiety that goes with all of that, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be a terminal disease. It could be you can't pay your rent this month. Am I going to be on the street? Fear comes from any and everywhere, okay? And it comes to debilitate you and paralyze you in that moment. One of the first things to combat fear is to accept what it is that you're afraid of. What is the worst case scenario? Okay, what is the worst case scenario? Can I deal with that? Well, guess what? Yeah, you can, because you got no choice. Unless you're going to take yourself out, you got no choice but to deal with it. So know that going forward, because I know there's a lot of you out there that have dealt with bad stuff in your life. You're here, aren't you? You got through it. Or you're still going through it, but you woke up, didn't you? You're here. So that means the universe has something else in store for you. And one thing that you should know is it's going to pass. It's going to, at some point, be irrelevant. And hold on to that. That helps you accept the present moment, knowing that in a couple moments, this moment is going to be gone. Okay, so one of the things that you want to learn how to do is recognize the fact that fear is nothing more than a feeling. It doesn't have the power to stop you from doing anything. Initially, it does. Initially, fear gets in there and paralyzes the crap out of you. Okay? If you're in a movie, and you're watching something scary, it paralyzes you in your seat. I remember one of the times when I was a latchkey kid, okay? And I remember one of the times that my mom had to go to work on a Saturday and I didn't have school. So I was in the house all by myself. And the the settling of the house, the creaking of the floors, the wind blowing outside, making the windows flutter a little bit, hearing the house settle, scared the living shit out of me. I'm like, what's that? Okay. I was waiting for the footsteps. What's that? What's going on? Hell, I remember the very first time I dealt with fear. Not many of us can do that, right? I remember the very first time I dealt with fear, and that was as maybe a 4-year-old or so, 3-4 years old, literally bawling in the dark. I was afraid of the dark. How many of us went through that as a kid? Okay. The first time I dealt with fear, black, couldn't see jack. I'm about to start the rhyme and freestyle. Couldn't see anything. And, I was used to kind of getting my way because my grandparents raised me for like the first part of my life. And I remember being able to sleep with them most times. And this one night they decided, nope, I don't know, they probably want to get on something, I don't know, but they decided, nope, you know what? She's getting older. She's got her own room. She's got her own bed. She's got to learn how to sleep by herself. She's not a baby. You're not breastfeeding. Okay. She, has to learn how to sleep in her room, sleep in her own bed, grow up a little bit, and get over this fear of the dark shit. And so they made me stay in my bedroom. I cried like you would not believe. Okay? Screamed to the top of my lungs like I was being murdered in cold blood. Okay? I was going for the gusto. Wah! You know what I mean? And I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't a kid that showed out and and just kicked and screamed. No, but this night I was determined to get my point across. I did not want to sleep by myself in the dark. No, I did not. And damn it, they were going to come get me. I was going to make sure of it. I was just going to scream my lungs out till I couldn't scream anymore. Well, that's pretty much exactly what I did, and ended up screaming myself to sleep. They stuck it out. They managed to listen to my wailing for, I know it had to be at least a good hour. And they never came and got me. Okay. Couple things happened that night. One is I got sleepy and tired and started, my throat started hurting and I started losing my voice, getting hoarse. And two is, and the most important thing is, I got over that fear. I realized, okay, in me yelling, nothing has come to eat me or kill me or hurt me in any way. They're obviously not coming, so I might as well, chuck that up. But, and I looked around, nothing's happening. Nothing, looked under the bed, no monsters, got up, looked in my closet, nothing. Just the stuff that was in my room, but it was just dark. And I realized, what am I doing? There's nothing happening. There's really nothing to be scared of. And I'm tired. I'm fucking sleepy. I'm going to bed. I'm done. I didn't say, hey, it worked. But I was like, okay, whatever, dude. Okay, I'm going to sleep. I'm fucking tired. I'm tired of hearing myself scream. And I went to sleep and it was all over. That was the first time I ever dealt with fear. And I realized in that moment as a child that, hey, the bark was worse than the damn bite. There was nothing to be afraid of. That took me a little bit further than I thought it would in life, I remember being bullied a little bit when I was in kindergarten. All right, I'm gonna bring you in, Jim, but let me get this one little story out, and then you can go ahead and say what's on your mind, baby girl. Guys, welcome Veganowledge to the stream. My lovely wife. Are you there?
Yes, I don't know if my sound's gonna work, but we'll try it, and I'll let you continue.
Okay. And I was bullied for a little bit of time when I was in kindergarten. I remember riding the school bus to school, and every day, like clockwork, when we got home, there were certain kids that were bullied and those that did the bullying. And it was like 4 or 5 of us, and each of us had a partner. Somebody would take me, somebody would take somebody else, somebody would take somebody, and they would pester us and bully us and push us around. Well, this one particular day, not too long after the whole crying in the dark thing, I remember this one girl approaching me that always approached me. And I was kind of a little bit bigger than her. And she was on me like white on rice. And for some reason, and it was snow, right? Some reason this day, and I guess I just sucked it up and remembered, stop being scared. And I just hauled off and cracked her one right in her nose. And all of a sudden, a couple of droplets of blood hit the snow, and they went wow, wow, wow. They stood out because the snow was so white, and these droplets of blood. And fear, I saw fear overtake her. And she started crying and looked up at me like, you hit me. And the first thing I could do was haul ass running. That's the first thing I thought about doing, was getting the out of Dodge, because I didn't want my ass whipped. But in the running, I realized, you know what you did, right? You just beat her. You overcame fear again, because now I wasn't scared of her anymore. That's the second time. Go ahead, Jen.
Oh, no, I just wanted to chime in and say I love this stream. I love this topic. Go ahead.
Oh, cool.
Oh, sorry.
Do you relate? Do you relate?
Oh my goodness. Yes. The thing that I'm going to relate to is obviously we all our first experiences with fear very early on. I feel if it's just me, but I went through a time where I wasn't afraid of it. Felt like, going up through maybe in my 30s. Recently, it seems like my fear has increased, and based on all life experiences, I feel like for some reason the closer to 50 I get, having to fight that and combat that like I did when I was 7 years old for different same fears. I think of monsters under the bed, but it's different monsters. It's like worrying and worrying about what's going to happen. It seems like, that escaped fear. It seems, I don't know if it's changes in hormones. I always feel like I need to have some mental mental aerobics or mental workout to combat it, like with about on here has really helped me, like meditation, listening to positive things, core of understanding what it is that I'm really fearful in different ways. And with me, it's kind of manifesting in like making sure everything's okay, or checking in with people, or maybe getting on the things, kind of like almost with the OCD type behaviors, but they're basically coming.
You there?
Yeah, I was just done. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you broke up on that last part. You were doing pretty good, but then on that very last part, something about the OCD.
Oh, I was just saying that have ways that it manifests, and it's basically the fear creating those behaviors in a lot of people, and a lot of their behavior is based off.
Right. Based off of, what was the word?
Of fear.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. I completely agree. People who have OCD tend to, and I've dealt with that. I personally have done something that people would probably think is crazy, but I've gone out of a room and just flicked the light switch once or twice, and just in my mind, I thought that would make the world better in some way, shape, or form, or make everything right in my life. Or if I had played the lottery, if I flick this a couple times, I'm going to win tonight. You know what I mean? Just little things, like turning on a light in a certain way, or always making sure the blinds are open or closed, or something that would be considered OCD in my mind was helping a situation if I did it. And
right.
I go through that from time to time, even now still. You know what I mean?
And okay, still?
What's that?
Am I breaking up, or you can hear me okay?
Yeah, you are kind of breaking up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Rap God Reloaded says something down in the comments that is amazingly true. A lot of times fear leads to anger. you know? And
Yeah.
that's another stream that we're going to get, because I did one the other day last week that says stop letting things trigger you. And the flip side to that is what you do once you are triggered with that anger. So I think Rap God Reloaded, you just came up with tomorrow's topic. And thank you, because then I can prepare the stream tonight, and that way it'll be all ready for tomorrow. Ramsterdam, thank you so much for checking in. Go make your dinner. I appreciate you so much. Keep it on and listen to us while you're preparing, if you can. But thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you so much. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I just wanted to say that what I feel like that we want control of is like he was saying, it might manifest in anger, it might manifest in OCD type behaviors, because we're ultimately just trying to the fear, because a lot of fear comes from uncertainty. So how to get to feel okay with the fear is part and all of about it in a lot of your
Is
streams.
realizing that you are in control. That's a good segue.
Wow, it's almost like we planned that. But we didn't. That's the funny
We
thing.
actually did not plan that. That was the next slide that I had. How crazy. Well, that means the universe is condoning this conversation.
Right.
Some people who may or may not be in the chat or may not be listening need to hear this, and this may be helping some people. So that's what we always say we want to do, right?
Exactly. And I'm telling you, man, these are, really, like, a lot of what you're saying is resonating with other people.
The funny thing is, you may not be able to remember when I said a few minutes ago, I don't know if you heard me, but accepting that thing which you fear is one of the first steps to getting rid of the fear from the core. If you accept it, I talk to you about that all the time when I find myself dealing with any PTSD issues that I had to accept in that moment, the thing which I fear. That puts you back in control, because honestly, the thing that you're fearing, you don't have any control over. You don't know if or when it's going to happen, but what you can control is your mind and how you think and how you react to what it is that you're fearing, how you react to the fear itself. JFK said we have nothing to fear but fear itself. And he was right, because fear is debilitating and it takes you out of the game. And the sooner you learn that, guess what? You are in control, not of the thing that you're fearing, but of the feeling of fear itself. You can control that. You have the power to stop that. Go ahead.
You're exactly right. And we have to realize is that, I know that we control, or like we wouldn't know what to do if this and this happened, but we are strong and we can control it. And what we can control, like you said, is the way we will spend so much time being fearful that we're not enjoying the moment that we're in, that may or may not ever happen. And if it does, we're going to be okay with it. That is what, and I'm saying it to say it to myself, because I'm certainly not at the me to talk it out,
Right. I mean, you are going to move forward whether you want to or not. Like I said, unless you check out, you're going to move forward whether you like it or not. So you might as well move forward in a spirit of, hey, you know what? This is just a feeling. And if I go ahead and basically change my thoughts, okay, I'm going to most likely get rid of this fear that I'm dealing with right now. That's one of the first steps. After you accept that thing which you're fearing, change your thought. Get out of that headspace. Get into something that's more positive. And that's when it helps to have positive affirmations that you've listened to and possibly memorized to turn to,
You know what has helped me with that in the moment, like you've told me, like, let's look at it like this. Life is a roller coaster we're on. Let's say we go to the carnival, we're on a roller coaster, and let's say ride, and the whole time we're worried, what if something happens? What if I don't make it off this?
The ride's going to go off track
What's
or something,
gonna
right?
happen? What if the person next to me, they, get too scared, want to get off the ride? What if it has to stop in the middle? Like, enjoy that ride.
What if the Ferris wheel stops at the top and can't move?
Bit of anxiety just thinking about this stuff. See, that's why I need to practice this stuff, because I'm on Ferris wheel when you said that.
Well, if it's helping you, that's because that works for me.
I'm a work in progress, right? I'm just gonna sit
Hey,
up there
we all are.
I'll enjoy the view, right?
See, now that's a perfect example right there of changing your thoughts. Instead of fearing falling, look at the world around you. That's a hell of a view. You know?
Could you imagine all the work? Hey, sorry, I got on a Ferris wheel. I'm not coming in for the rest of my shift because I'm stuck on top of the Ferris wheel. Say, we're up here enjoying the view. Hey, I got water with me. I'm happy.
You can look at it as though you're on top of the world. You know what I mean? Looking at everybody else struggling. You know what I mean? That's a prime example and a good example of changing your thoughts in that moment of fear. That's one of the reasons I named this channel J&J Video Reacts. It used to just be J&J Video, but it's J&J Video Reacts because, I put in the bio, life's not about just what happens, just about how you react to it. And you can react with fear, or you can react with your presence of mind in that moment to what is actually happening, instead of you projecting what you think might happen.
Listen something about it if it is worrying you. That's one of the things that we've learned from Power of Now about it. Get up and do something. If you're so worried about this happening, do anything about it, that's going to continue to worry you. So if your mind, at first it starts out as a thought, if you can't change the thought, something to make your,
you can change
to
it.
make thought.
You can change it. That's the thing you have to realize. You're in control. You can change your thoughts. That's the one thing that you have control over. It's like shifting gears in a car. It's no different. You can change your thought. Don't say you can't. You can. That is the one thing you can do in that moment, even when the fear is paralyzing you. Changing your thoughts is the only power that you do have. And it's a powerful thing, because in the time when I was...
Every time I get scared.
Yeah. When I was a kid and I was scared of that dark that night, one of the first things I did was accept that, okay, nothing's going to change. The second thing I did was I got the hell up and walked around in my bedroom and realized nothing is coming after me. I'm walking around and I'm not falling in some black hole somewhere. Nothing is here to be afraid of. I faced the fear and walked in the dark.
Right. That was the action I was talking about. You got up.
That's why I said it. I got up and faced that fear and just walked around in the dark.
That is amazing. That is excellent. That is a perfect example. I love
it. Yeah, I didn't stay paralyzed in the bed, like I can't move, something's gonna get... No, I got up out of that bed and I walked around facing my fear every step I took. I'm walking in darkness.
Remember I told you this, I feel like I streamed a long time ago, but I might have just told you like in person. But time where, when McDonald's used to have a playground, and if my mom's listening, she will remember now. Maybe it stood out to me because I was a kid. But they used to have this the one that went in like a loop, you know what I mean? Like it was the bigger slide for like the...
Yeah.
That's when they had... This is how, like, I'm showing age, but when they could shake it, and then you had the little hamburger, you could go up in the top, and the cool kids used to write on the...
I remember.
So I was like so afraid of that sliding board, and I wanted to do it. And she's like, okay, well, just take a walk up. You don't to the top of it, and see what it looks like up there. So I went to the sliding board, and I was like halfway up, and I'm like, I don't know. But I got up, go ahead, get up to the top, get there, do it, and just see what you think. I'm waiting. You're nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna be watching the whole time. Just go ahead and get the edge of it. And I'm like, I don't know. I still wasn't feeling this thing. I'm like, but finally she was like, just do it. Just go ahead and do it. And when I did it, it was like, and again, and again, and again, and again. But that little push to get over your fear, that push. And I feel like these streams that you do is that push that is, and hopefully that's doing that for someone else and helping them face their fears too in a better way, not to let it control your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I love the feeling of not being in fear, like I love that I could get on that sliding board.
Right. And I'm proud of you for doing that, because you faced your fear in that moment, and that is an absolute wonderful thing.
On those type of things, looking at
it. It's called taking back your control. Take your power back. Basically, that's what we did as kids. Take back your power. And when you went on ahead and took your mom's word for it and trusted her and climbed up and slid down and realized that there was nothing that bad that happened to you, in that moment, you took your power back, and then you were ready to just slide.
Like I'm ready to go ride the Ferris wheel right now. I don't care.
Yeah, go slide on. You know what I mean? Hey, I tell you what, let's get on that slingshot. That's when we're really facing out. Let's get on that slingshot.
Oh, my heart's a little bit old for that thing. That might be a real fear.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Look, your stepdad got on it, and he's got you by like 20 years. If he didn't die or fall off of it, you're not going to.
All right, I'll listen to you, but I'm telling you, my heart jumps when I drink.
Oh, trust you me. I'm going to be dealing with my own fear of it as well. We'll do it together.
Let's start with the Ferris wheel.
We will keep you guys posted. I'm going to make myself, and I'm going to drag her with me. We're going to get on that slingshot. Those of you probably know what ride I'm talking about, where they just catapult you up into the air like you're going to the moon. And then you just kind of dangle there for a little while. You know what I mean? Until it calms down. But I'm determined that I'm going to get on that ride. Parasailing's cool. I would love to do that. I don't have a fear of that at all, Eileen. I mean, I actually want to jump out of a plane at some point. That's on my bucket list.
This is very interesting revelation I just had. When I was younger, I was more inclined, like I was not afraid of afraid of slingshots. I was not afraid of the biggest roller coasters that there were. I could go right to the park and get on it. I was not afraid of Ferris wheels, for example. Nothing came in. And then but stuff that I was in control of, like I would have been afraid to drive on a go-kart. I was afraid to do like a boat myself. Things that I had control of, but I have switched somewhere along that line. Switch was flipped in my head. Now I'm afraid of things I don't have control of, which is is creeping in.
That's okay. Let's deal with that for a moment. Okay, let's deal with that for a moment, because why do you think that is? Because you admitted it. You've gotten older, and now you've had a ton more life experiences happen to you. Like there's a ton of people out there that will never ever deal with the horror of being told that they have or had cancer. And more power to them. I am not one of those people. It has touched my life with a relative and then me personally. So something like that, you would think would continue to paralyze me. I'll tell you what, when you have things happen to you, it creates that fear. On top of the fear that's already there of dying, you now have these fears of getting struck by an automobile because it happened to you, or you saw something happen to someone like that, or getting a terminal disease, or losing your house, or getting your car repossessed. As you go through life and experience more horrible things, as Mary Tyler Moore said, you can't learn to be brave if you've never had nothing, if you've only had wonderful things happen to you. Who goes through a life where only wonderful things happen? Things happen. That's what creates that fear. If it wasn't already there, oh, it'll get there at some point, because some shit's going to happen. It's going to mess your mind up. That's where that fear begins to take over, and you have to learn to control it, harness it, and take back your power. Hey, you there? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take you out. I'm gonna go ahead and continue on. Okay, so you have to learn how to, again, take back your power and get in control of your thoughts, because, again, it is just a feeling. I do have the link there if anybody wants to, or if anybody is listening and wants to join into this stream and talk about anything that's happened with them in their lives personally. I do believe in an open forum here. Shout out to Flight Sports TV. He is somebody that always invites people on. If you're into sports, if you're into, the content, if you like the Ball family, if you like boxing, go over to Flight Sports and check him out sometime. He has an open forum where he allows anybody to come up and speak their piece. But take back your power and make sure that you harness those feelings of fear and recognize that they don't have the power to stop you. Okay. One of the next things that I want to talk about.
Can I jump on that real quick? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Before you go to the next topic, you know how you were talking about how that fear of cancer, a lot of the fear, you had to kind of take control of that.
Yeah.
In bouncing off of that, what a lot of my fear stems from is young age to cancer, and to
is what
just
now?
losing her in general.
You broke up.
Can you hear me okay now? No.
Yeah.
I was just saying that your fear came from something that happened to you. I lost my grandmother to, in a very young age, and I feel like from fear of losing loved ones, and that could be that manifesting in a lot of the worry and things that I go through as people, get older with sickness and illness, and I think that's like part of my controlling out information on health stuff.
That is amazing that you said that. And in this moment, I just got a really empathetic thought, because you and I are so close. It must scare you shitless that you might lose me to it, since I had it before.
For sure.
And I never thought about that till just now. I never thought about that, Jen, till just now. And that has to be something that, because honestly, I have the same fear about you. Knowing that someone in your family had it, knowing that I dealt with it, I have the same fear of losing you the same way.
But and you know what? We were just talking
here's the
about
thing. Right. That's exactly my point. You have to accept in this moment that, number one, death is a part of life, and we have no control of how it's going to happen to us. And in the moment, you have to realize, even though it was a tragic thing, you went on. You moved on. As much as I would not want to go on without you, okay, I would realize that I have no choice, and I know that that's what you would want me to do, and vice versa for me with you. You got to keep moving.
It helps that we take positive action for us. We're not going to be able to control everything that happens to us, but those
Right.
taking action to get your, to help with the fear that you have, if you feel like you have that wall around you, feel like you're
Yeah.
doing the right things and you're being healthy, that helps control, a lot of fear. Always control everything. And that is I know that's a lot of cliche and stuff, but you have to be okay with uncertainty, for the best that you can,
Yeah, it goes along with what we just said with changing your thoughts and taking back your power. What can I do to help myself move through this moment? Well, one of the things that I can do is begin to think that, okay, I know, instead of thinking about losing myself or you to cancer, I know that there are things that I can do to help myself prevent cancer. I can eat better, I can exercise, I can drink water. I can do the things that will help my body prevent those things and not have reoccurrences. And it all starts with what? My thoughts, knowing that that's possible, knowing that the human body actually was meant to heal itself, including cancer, that the human body in the fasted state can eat tumors. Okay, these are things that are very powerful, that if all you have is the thoughts of fear and you don't have these thoughts to replace those, you are screwed. And you got to learn to get some positive thoughts and some positive facts that can help you replace the fear with feelings of power, feelings of, okay, I can get through this. It's going to happen at some point anyway, death that is, but it doesn't have to happen from cancer. It can happen at peace in my sleep. If I learn to live right, eat right, and do some of the things that I know that eliminate that starts to eliminate the fear. And if it happens anyway, then so be it. But if you do the things that give you some feeling to replace that feeling of fear, feelings of power, like, hey, I'm doing a lot of good stuff that's going to most likely result in me being well. Change the focus of being sick to being well.
And one of the things that you mentioned really also resonated with me is you is so important in keeping you well, because if you spend a lot of time worrying, that actually can be food, if not.
It's the law of attraction. You bring that thing on you that you fear. That's why accepting that the thing that you're scared of is key. Because if you bring it on, that's going to solve two issues. One is, if it does happen, you're going to handle it in the moment because you've already accepted it. Number two, it's going to eliminate the fear because you've accepted it. So if you accept it, you can't accept it and be scared of it at the same time. It's literally impossible. If you accept it, that is in itself eliminating the fear. Okay? And then move away from it, change your thoughts, and focus on being well, and focus on getting through that financial crisis. Focus on the things that are going to bring you money. Focus on abundance. Focus on getting a new job by putting out applications and updating your resume. You don't like that job, then focus on a new job. You know what? I'm going to be working somewhere real soon because I'm going to take actions. I'm going to take steps to change what I'm doing.
Focus on what you want as opposed to what you don't want. I know The Secret says that it can really think about things in a positive light, as hard as it might be here, right?
Right. Just like the guy that was focusing on, oh man, I'm late. I'm running late. Oh man, come on. What's going on with this traffic? All he focused on was late. The fact that he was focusing on the fact that he didn't want to be late didn't matter. What was he focusing on? Lateness, period. Instead of him saying, there's a lot of traffic here, but I still think I'm going to be on time. I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm just going to work on it. I'm going to be on time. Everything's cool. And if you'd be surprised that in that moment, what will happen to you? Something will happen. You know what? Wait a minute. I'm at this street. If I make this right and go around here, I actually will get to work on that. Things happen in your mind to begin to change that circumstance. Don't focus on late, focus on being on time. Don't focus on sick, focus on you're well, and you will continue to be well as long as you do what you need to do.
I think that I heard this thing the other day when I was listening to that was or a documentary, I think it was, about deer and anxiety and OCD, and it said sometimes you, or like for example what you do on your is work out. We have to also work, just that's a muscle just like that, and over time that can get a lot of bad thoughts and a lot of things and a lot of worry, a lot of fears that you may even not have had. Face those fears and realize that you're okay. You've always been okay. You're, regardless of what happens, and take the actions like we were just talking about. If it's your health that you're worried about, do the right things for your health, and realize that you're going to be all right. And that's so important. That's why I love this channel. The mind, body, and spirit talk about are so important. Thank everybody. Video with somebody who might be in fear, because it's definitely helpful.
Well, awesome, honey. I'm glad that it is. And I really hope that it is helping you as well as others. It helps me. It's therapeutic for me to talk about these things. And because, you know what? We need constant reminders of these things. We do. We are creatures of habit, and we need constant reminding that these things are possible. You can take back control. You can change your thoughts. And one of the ways that you can do that, and you guys have heard me say this on this show before, but that is reprogramming your subconscious mind. Okay. One of the things that's why I put Dauchsy Meditation link in all of these streams, because it helped me so much to throw that on while I'm sleeping at night and listen to affirmations of, I'm clearing my mind and I'm letting go of my past. And I am moving forward without fear, and I'm letting go of worry and doubt. I am safe and secure, so I allow myself to let go. I am opening myself to new possibilities and the love and the beauty of the world. Those are affirmations that resonate with me, because initially I memorized them when I was in my waking life. I also put them in my subconscious. That's what made me actually believe and have the feelings of these things, not just saying them and memorizing them. That's something that your conscious mind does. Why? Because it's a file cabinet. It's designed to take in thoughts, take in scenes and situations, and record what you've seen and just file it away, because later it's going to come back up. Well, if you don't take the steps to reprogram your subconscious mind, which is going in that file, and if it's a bad thing, ripping that shit up and throwing it out. That's what you're doing when you reprogram your subconscious mind, because if not, it's going to sit in that file cabinet. It's going to creep back up, and you're going to use it at a time when you really shouldn't be using it.
I didn't believe that at first when you were telling me that. From doing that, it totally is true. Because you know what else too? Have a movie and you can watch it over and over. I mean, a movie you've watched a lot, and all of a sudden you say, "I've never seen that before," and it's because your mind, your mind focuses on what it wants when it's conscious,
right.
And you put in over time. Look at what the world has done to us just by putting stuff you paying attention to, or know that it is bothering us, but it's bothering us subconsciously. So it's putting that right stuff in there is like a computer when it doesn't update.
This is why I dealt with PTSD unbeknownst to myself, because it was deeply embedded in my subconscious.
And it was
I'm walking around saying positive things and being positive on the outside, not realizing that my inside was 50 shades of fucked up. Excuse my French. Okay. And at some point, it was like, okay, something's wrong. Why does this keep creeping back up? Why do my thoughts keep going to that place? Because you never dealt with it subconsciously. You never went in your subconscious and said, hey, you almost died. It is what it is. You didn't. You're here. You're well now. And one day it is going to happen. But guess what? It didn't happen. So in this moment, do some things that make you happy. And get over yourself. You know what I mean? And move on. But it's not easy to do that. It took years of me reprogramming my subconscious mind while I was sleeping to get to a place where I can legit say that and freaking mean it. And not just say it just to hear myself talk or make myself feel better in the moment. I mean it. You know, and it only happens with reprogramming your subconscious. And the only way to do that is to listen to stuff that you want to become, that you want to do while you're sleeping. And people don't under that. What do you think that I always reference the Matrix? What the hell do people think Neo was doing when he was plugged in? Was he awake, walking around listening to a headset? No, he wasn't. He was done. He was out. He was unconscious when he was being reprogrammed. That's metaphoric. Art imitates life. That was metaphoric. What he was doing when he was getting plugged in and being taught jujitsu, he let his mind go. He was unconscious and he was plugged into something that was reprogramming his subconscious mind. That's exactly what was going on in that scene. When you go to sleep and put a headset on, you are, in essence, because you're not conscious, you are plugging that thing into your mind like he did in the Matrix and learning something new. And he was asleep while he was doing it. He wasn't awake. Okay? He was not awake. He was he woke up and he looked at Morpheus and said, I know jujitsu. It's like, what the hell? You know, when he first plugged him in, when Tank first plugged him in, and all of a sudden he's, you know, he gets shocked or whatever, but he realizes, whoa, what the hell just happened? And Tank looked at him like, yeah, man, I'm reprogramming what's in your core right now. You want some more? He's like, hell yeah. And he sat back, chilled, went to sleep, and got fed. And that's what you do when you go to sleep and reprogram your subconscious. Throw that headset on. Listen to Dauchsy Meditations. Pick one out that resonates with you and listen to it and go to sleep. And let your subconscious mind do the rest. It works. It works. I am living proof that it works. Because I no longer suffer with the level of PTSD that I had. And I am a work in progress, just like Jen just said. I'm a work in progress every day. You never stop. Don't think that because you listen to it and you've mastered it, that it won't come back. Okay? No, this is a always process. Yeah, maybe I can go a week without it because I've got so much embedded in there now that I can do. But eventually I'm going to need it back. Why? Because I live in the world like everybody else. And what happens? News. COVID, bombs, Ukraine, shit comes at you that you have no control over that is negative. Hurricanes, people losing their house, all kinds of stuff gets thrown at you constantly. So you are going to always need to do this because nothing else is going away. So you better keep some reprogramming going on in your life. Because you're going to always need it because shit's always happening. Are you still there, Jen?
I am still here. I just had to jump back into work a moment. There was a
I gotcha.
I'm
actually about to wrap up.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, sweetie.
I think the point that I try to get to that you talk about all the time is that and I good with this in a lot of things, but when it comes to fear, sometimes we have to like let it in, face it, and get through it. But when we really feel we'll reach will ever happen is like almost like that shield around you where it's not even taking that moment, that feeling of the fear. You know what I mean? So I have to feel, hopefully it will just lessen, just like it did after going down, down that route when we were kids, and we got over a lot of our fears. So we felt like we had more.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. That is absolutely huge. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and close out with this thought. Start now, please. Start now. Because, if you don't, you're going to end up going through life and not enjoying your life. You're going to go through life feeling like crap most of the time. And that's not fun because I did it. I went through that. And that is no way to live, because it will overtake you, and the next thing you know, all you're doing is thinking morbid thoughts. All you're doing is basically looking at everything like that's something that's going to get you, or that's something that pertains to you. If you see an ambulance ride by, I'm going to tell you how bad it got. I remember, and I've said this on the air before, I was sitting, Jen and I were having lunch at one of the local pizza spots. And all of a sudden, because I saw an ambulance ride by, I somehow made it about me. I thought that the universe was putting the ambulance in proximity of me because soon, I was going to have a heart attack, or something was going to happen where I was going to lose consciousness or drop dead in the restaurant. And if the ambulance was near, I could feel safe because Jen would be able to call them, or they would be able to be summoned to me. And next thing I know, I'm getting overtaken with this fear because now I'm living with the thought, okay, that means something's getting ready to happen to me. Why the hell would I think that? Why would that ambulance be there for me? That guy could have just been going to lunch somewhere. But because I had all this PTSD going on, I made it about me. It's not about you, but you can make it about you if you change your mind and change your thoughts and reprogram yourself and start now. Like I said, the link to Dauchsy Meditations is going to be in here. You know what? I'm going to have to go out and come right back in. Jen, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me okay? Just before we wrap up here, but to see if you could remind everyone about tonight at 7:30 Eastern as well, if you want to start working on your health. Oh, that's right, you were leaving. Anyway, tonight is the plug for our next show here on Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Monday, baby.
Start
Monday,
now, improving your health as it goes into start now. Put things off and say, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start working on these fears tomorrow. I'll start putting this week or January 1st. Start right now with the next anxiety. Let's start facing it. Let's start putting that shield up around us, remembering what it is that we have control of, which is our thoughts and our feed those good things into us. And that starts by Midday, Meltdown, J&J Reacts. Thank you.
Thank you. You should do commercials. You're good at that.
Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel and support the channel. Thank you so much, everyone, for letting me come on. I know I ran over here, sweetie, at work. I'm going to do this stream. I can't wait to talk to you again this evening.
All right. Sounds good. Have a great rest of your day dealing with all the customer service issues. I'll talk to you soon. I love you.
I feel like it's therapy.
It is therapy. Mm-hmm. If we can be therapy for you out there that's listening, then so be it. That's why we're here. That's why I do the midday meltdown. I'm committed to helping those like myself who have dealt with things like PTSD, who feel like they're stagnated in their lives, who feel like they can't move forward. And they just want somebody to talk to, or somewhere to vent, or somewhere that they can feel safe in knowing, hey, you've been through that too? Or, wow, okay, what helped you? Well, look at my screen. That's what helped me. That's just one of the many things that I did to help myself move through the PTSD. I went to this channel and I would listen to Norman Vincent Peale, and The Power of Positive Thinking, and Napoleon Hill, You to Think and Grow Rich. Hey, I've listened to all of that stuff, and all that stuff is great, but it didn't help me deal with PTSD. In my waking life, yeah, sure, it helped me know how to make money and how to think like a millionaire, of course, but it didn't help me deal with the fears that I was dealing with. And that's a real thing. So, I'm not getting paid by Dauchsy. I'm just so passionate about it because it actually helped me. So this is what the channel looks like. If you see the dog and the blue writing, you're there, and he's got a ton of sleep meditations that you can listen to reprogram your subconscious mind. But again, none of this means absolutely nothing. I'm going to include the link in the description. None of it means nothing if you don't start now. You won't see any changing. And if you think it's mumbo jumbo, then fine, go on dealing with it and living in fear and living in anger and living in, because it's not just fear. This also pertains to anger, which is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Thanks to Rap God Reloaded. Thank you again for the topic.
I know I'm
so go
supposed to
on.
be gone, but the gives are really good. Trust me, I resisted them for a while, but I listened to it because sometimes you can even hear it a lot of times and it doesn't get in. But since I've studied techniques, it has truly helped me. So thank you for
You know
that.
what?
Now I'm really leaving.
And looking at the screen, it just reminded me, and I'm going to jot these down. So we're going to deal with how to deal with your anger tomorrow, but the power of now. I think Hump Day would be very fitting to go over the power of now and how to learn how to pull yourself in the moment. That's another way that you can change your thoughts in the moment. Okay. And that's learning how to live in the now. That helps you with these fears. All this stuff goes hand in hand and works together. So again, start now doing the things to reprogram your subconscious mind. Go check out the link that I'm going to leave in here to Dauchsy Meditations and listen to some sleep meditations. And, again, going back through, just to reiterate, fear is nothing more than a feeling. That's all. And the thing that you fear, you may not be able to control, but you can control how you think about it and how you react to it. And you can change your thoughts. Okay? Change your thoughts. That is how you deal with the feeling of fear. The first thing is to change your thoughts. And when you change your thoughts, that helps you to take back your power. Okay? That helps you to take back your power. And once you take back your power, you get to remember that one thing that you are in control of is your thoughts. You can't control things around you. You can't control things in your own body. But if you control the things that you can, God give me the wisdom to know the difference. You know how that saying goes. Deal with the things that I can't, accept the things that I can't change. Deal with the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You are in control of how you eat. You are in control of working out. You are in control of saving some money. You are in control of buying assets instead of liabilities. You are in control of your thoughts. You are in control. Control what you can control. And you'll find that eventually your life will stop controlling you and the fear will stop getting a hold of you. But more importantly than anything else, don't procrastinate. Start now. Start now, because you got the rest of your life. Okay. If you start now, everything that you do now will lead you to the best of your life. And I know I sound like a motivational speaker, but God damn it, I'm going to own that. That's exactly who and what I am. I motivate people. When I was in corporate America, they called me a cheerleader. That's because that's what the hell I am. Okay? You can do whatever it is you set your mind to. And I am living proof of that. So start now. Go to Dauchsy Meditations. Subscribe. Start listening to some meditations and change. Guys, I love you. Okay? I love you. And don't forget, and also check out Karen and Thomas BSR. BSR is awesome. They are always giving you ways to be prepared and ways to think positively and move forward in this life and basically have your shit together. So shout out to Karen and Thomas BSR. Okay. And they always end with the affirmations: you are beautiful, you are awesome, you are worthy, God never changes, and you are blessed. And I believe in those affirmations and I live them every day. And thank you for reiterating those to us, Karen. And thank you for making us always put those thoughts instead of the BS bullshit repellent. Those thoughts and those statements are bullshit repellent. It helps keep the bad stuff away. No. Okay, hey Kay, you just read my mind. Okay, yeah, dude, we're here. We are here. I got your vibe all the way from freaking Atlanta or wherever you are. You sent that to me. I picked it up because out of nowhere, why did I start talking about it? So yeah, it's powerful, girl. Karen is saying you just read my mind. Habit. All of our constant thoughts are habitual. That is deep. I conspire to, let me, wait a minute. Let me not mess that up. Okay, Karen said, I conspire to trace my habitual thoughts of things that I do not prefer. Oh, I love that. Things that I do not prefer to developing new thoughts, habits of preferable. Right. Okay. I got you. Basically, and I apologize for the legal blindness and me having to thumb through, but I get your point. She conspires every day to habitually change her thoughts from things she doesn't prefer to things that she does prefer, situations that she does prefer to be in, what she wants to happen, and not what she doesn't want to happen or what she may be going through that she doesn't want to happen. She focuses on what she wants. They preach that. They teach that in The Secret. I don't want to be late. Well, stop focusing on lateness as a whole. Focusing, I'm on time. I'll be there. Everything's going to be fine. Okay. Cancer. I don't want to get cancer. Let's fight cancer. Cancer this, cancer that. No. I am well. And to assure that, I eat right. I do the things that I know are going to make me well. Okay. Not saying you can't say the C word, but I don't feel like constantly focusing on that word and the negative connotations it has. What do I prefer? Wellness. So thank you, Karen, for chiming in. And thank you for watching and always being supportive and always putting out those fabulous videos. I will be including the link to Karen and Thomas BSR in the description of this channel. I've included it in past videos. I will be including it today. Thank you for jumping in there. The link's here. You see that blue link, right? If you want to come on and say something, feel free to do that anytime. You have an open invitation. Just click on the link and chime on in if you want to do that. We welcome you. But other than that, if there's nothing else to be said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And as usual, peace and blessings. And have a fantabulous day.